was a less than ideal performance against Stanford, but the Arizona Wildcats, I believe, did figure some things out here. And going forward, maybe the most important position on the field will be addressed. Let's get started here on Locked On Wildcats.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. It is brought to you by LinkedIn. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, got a lot to get to this show, obviously. Arizona Stanford. Now listen, I'm not going to blow smoke on you and tell you that Stanford's good. Stanford stinks. There's no other way around it. They almost lost to Sac State. But be that as it may, Arizona was able to get the win. And I think we found out a few things during this game. And you know what? I'm all about that knowledge is power, that it's better to have more information than less, as opposed to the people that want less information and less knowledge. But I think the first thing is we need to discuss Jayden de Laura. I think it's fair to say at this stage in the game, Jayden de Laura ain't that dude. Just not. And not only is he not that guy, I don't even know that he's close to that guy. And the big problem is I think so much of it is upstairs. That's just kind of the way it is, I believe. When it comes to de Laura, you kind of wonder, has he just kind of maxed out right there? And I think that's probably the case. Now, listen, he's capable of some really, really big moments. He can sling the ball all over the field, but there's way too many times when it looks like he's missing reads, where it looks like somebody is running wide open, and for whatever reason, they're not getting him the ball, or he's not getting them the ball. And as we've talked about ad nauseum, this is way too talented of a team not to be able to, way too talented of a team to worry about the QB not doing what he needs to be doing out there. I know that sounds cliche, but you've got a T-Mac, you've got a Cowing, you've got a Montana Lamonius Craig, you've got even other guys like a Kevin Green, AJ Jones. You've got wide receivers that can ball out there, and it's just not necessarily showing up there. And there's times too where he's running around and it looks like he's kind of running around like a chicken with his head cut off right there. And that's where I think it's less, like I said, it's just less than ideal if you're Arizona. And I think that Arizona could probably do a little bit better than that right there. First, though, I would also recommend, and I would go with this, I would say that it's fair to say at this stage in the game, though, that he just kind of is what he is. And sometimes players just max out. Players just kind of tap out at a certain point. And I think that's where it is. Because, again, this is your third year playing D1 football, playing at a high level, starting, not just redshirting, and you're still running around, not catching reads, not finding the players that you need to be able to find. Now, then enter Noah Fifita. Noah Fifita is about a 5'7" quarterback. There's no doubt about it. But he has a big-time arm, and not only does he have a big-time arm, he knows the offense in and out. He prepares the way that the offense is supposed to go. And when he came in there, he made a huge difference. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say other than that. He came in and the offense just started humming along. And that is not something that we saw at all with JDL. The receivers all of a sudden were getting open. And not only that, there was if there was a running lane 12 yards in front of you, he was going to take that running lane right there. And that's where, and again, that's just kind of where it's at this stage. Noah Fifita was able to execute the offense in a way that Jayden de Laura has just not been able to execute the offense. And I think that a big part of it, though, is that Noah Fifita understands football. I'm not saying that Jayden de Laura doesn't, but Noah Fifita has been that dude who has been around has been around football almost his entire life. And not only has he been around football his entire life, he's excelled at football. And when people say, oh, well, that'll work in high school, but it won't work here. You played in the Trinity League. That's literally the best high school football conference in the entire country. It's loaded on every single team with D1 players, especially in some teams you got double-digit D1 players, especially on the line. It's as good as it gets. And so he was able to ball out in that spot. And not only was he able to ball out in that spot, he was able to get me, or he was able to basically. He was able to basically talk about, he was basically able to do whatever he wanted out there. And not only was he able to ball out there, he has the respect and the trust of his fellow players. And I think a big part of it is, though, is that he just gets football. He was born to play football. I don't care about his height. I don't care about his dimensions. I don't care about any of that. He was born to play football. And I think right now we're also at the stage where he's like I said, he's just a big time performer out there. Not only is he a big time performer, he's also a guy that I think kind of has transformational potential to him. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to be Nick Foles or he's going to be the best quarterback in school history, but there's something special with Noah. There's a little bit of a spark with Noah that we haven't necessarily seen before. So that's kind of where I'm at. Plus, I think the fan base is definitely has come around on him. And not only has it come around on him, that I think he's the one that everybody wants to see starting out there. Arizona, I think, is in a great spot with him. And again, he's going to always help with recruiting because he is that dude. He's the guy that everybody out there respects. Noah Fifita, quite frankly, is just the man. And again, I don't want to make it out like, we're putting in Sean Elliott on the basketball side or anything like that, because that's certainly not the case. But I do think that you do need to know that that right now Arizona, if you want to maximize this talent, if you want to maximize all these receivers that you have out there, I need Noah Fifita out there. Again, Jedd Fisch has done an A+ job, no doubt about it. But I also think that there's a stage now where you got to be able to put another dude out there because the first guy's just not doing the job. And it's one of those things too. I get that the quarterback position is different, but there also is a certain amount of accountability that I think does need to fall into play right here. And we're going to get to that in just a second right there. But first, we need to talk about LinkedIn. All right. If you know successful people out there, they probably use LinkedIn. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. This is where it's at. Again, how many different times have you found somebody or has somebody found you that through LinkedIn? Everybody knows somebody that got a job through LinkedIn. And not only did everybody get a job through LinkedIn, you might have hired somebody. And that's because everybody has LinkedIn. And if you don't have LinkedIn, it's because either you don't need a job or you're not looking for a job. But I think that we're kind of at the point now where LinkedIn, everybody knows it works, and that's why it's on everything. Go to LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. Post your job for free at LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. Again, for free right there. Check it out. You will thank me later. And again, there's a reason that everybody utilizes it. Check it out. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. We will be right back with you. Thanks for listening to Locked On Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, now, let's talk a little bit about just the accountability factor. Again, I get that the quarterback is different. Totally get it. But if you got a quarterback who's played terrible for 4 games, and you're not going to play a running back and rightfully so, because they fumble or whatever the case may be, that starts to, I think, ring a little hollow with some of the players, mainly because, okay, why is this guy allowed to do whatever he wants? But if I fumble the ball once, I'm not allowed to go back in the game. Again, I want to be very clear here. Jedd Fisch has been an A+ hire. Everything about Jedd Fisch has been awesome. But I do believe, though, that it is time to make that move to Noah Fifita. And not only is it time to make that move, I think the locker room, I think that at this point in the game, the locker room wants that move. And I think that matters to a certain extent. I really do. But Noah Fifita, though, you watch him, and like I said, I think that, and I said this before, when he comes in the game, he ain't going out. And I think that's kind of where we're at with Noah Fifita right there. So obviously, we're going to keep an eye on that, and we're going to be talking about this much more throughout the week. All right, now, Gunnar Maldonado. The defensive line for Arizona has been absolutely fantastic. Not only has it been absolutely fantastic, it has been something that I think a lot of people are rightfully joyous about right there. Rightfully joyous about. And I think a big part of it, though, is they've been able to outperform expectations. We're going to get to them in just a second. But first, we got to talk again. We talked about this yesterday on the postgame. Gunnar Maldonado, you got to get him out of the lineup. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to say right there. He's just not good enough. He's just not good enough out there. Not only is he not good enough out there, he's just not that dude. Don't know what else to say. He's just not that guy. I know that he got a fumble. I know that he hits hard, all of that. But the one thing about him, though, is that he is not he cannot cover it all. And you see that teams go after him immediately. No matter where he is out there on the field, teams are going after him. And it is a conscientious effort that not only will they go after him, but they're going after him in a big way. They want him to basically be stuck anywhere in coverage that he can. And it's not just Stanford. Mississippi State knew the second that he came back in the game, we're going to go right after him, and they do. And I think at this stage, even the average person knows that he's just not good in coverage. I can't tell you how many people who don't even know anything about football kept saying, why is number 9 out there? What is number 9 doing? And I mean, I think that's that's a fair question right there. Because again, I understand the argument. I always get the argument that, you're put in the wrong place, whatever the case may be. I get all that. He knows where to line everybody up, but he's not good enough. Don't know what else to say. He's not good enough out there. And not only is he not good enough, it is obvious to every single person out there that he's not good enough. And I think at this stage in the game, and granted, I get that it's easy to say, just throw the backup in there. Everybody loves the backup. I do get that. But I think we're also at the stage, though, too, where if you're just not good enough, I think it's difficult to just keep throwing you out there. Because why wouldn't you then, at this stage in the game, why wouldn't you throw a Genesis Smith out there? Because at least Genesis Smith is young. Genesis Smith can Genesis Smith can grow. Gunnar Maldonado is exactly who Gunnar Maldonado will always be. And again, it's not the worst thing in the world, but that's more of a backup safety because, again, no matter how good your defense is, if you have a real weak link like him, I think it's very difficult to continue to put him out on the field. I don't care about what what his tackle numbers are. That's just because he is really around pretty much everybody right there. And not only is he around everybody, he's just kind of at the stage where it is what it is. When you become the target of another team's defense, that becomes an issue. All right, now we're going to talk about all the good stuff on defense because there is a lot of really good stuff on defense here for us to talk about. And the first thing that I think we need to talk about is the defensive line. Tyler Manoa, Tai Uiagalelei, Taylor Upshaw. But first, we're going to go with Taylor Upshaw right here, ladies and gentlemen. Taylor Upshaw has been absolutely what Arizona has ordered. And not only has he been everything that Arizona has wanted, he has been that dude where it's hard to really explain just how good he's been. And not only has he been very good, he has been it's hard to say. It's hard to really put. Really hard to put into perspective. I'm looking at his stats right here: 2.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and not only that, he has been a terror off the edge. He's been able to contain the edge, and not only has he been able to contain the edge, he's been able to keep players off of it. And I think that's what, if you're Arizona, that's what's been enticing about him. He has been a next level difference maker right there. And not only has he been a next level difference maker, you wish you could get him another year. Deion Sanders' loss is Arizona's gain. We very much like Taylor Upshaw right there. We are big fans of Taylor Upshaw. So there's that. Now, on the other side, Isaiah Ward. Isaiah Ward has become an animal. Isaiah Ward will be an all-conference player at the U of A before his time is done here. We're going to talk quite a bit about Isaiah Ward in the coming weeks because he's another dude. Came in 6'5", 235 pounds, 225 pounds, and they have continued to bulk him up. And he has every bit the look of an NFL player to him. And not only does he have every bit the look of an NFL player to him, he's what an NFL player is supposed to look like. Again, very, very impressive right there. Very impressed by everything that I've seen from Isaiah Ward. And not only that, he's the dude who I think at this stage in the game, I think it's safe to say that he will always be he's always going to be on another team's radar. Again, it's not that he's a Scooby Wright at this point, but he's also very, very good. So we're going to continue to talk about him. But we need to talk about Athletic Brewing. All right. Show you about Athletic Brewing right here. Here's the deal. Use code LOCKEDON for 15% off your first order. athleticbrewing.com. Check it out. Your non-alcoholic beer that tastes like it has alcohol in it. It's very, very good. Had somebody offer it to me at a bar the other day. I took it. I tried it. It was very good. And again, you can use code word locked on for 15% off your first order. It doesn't get much better than that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, does it? But again, athleticbrewing.com, the non-alcoholic beer that tastes just like your alcohol, tastes just like it. It's quite good. It is delicious. You will thank me later for it. All right, now we're going to take a quick little break. We're going to come back. We're going to continue to talk about the defense. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats, making this your first listen of the day. This show is brought to you by LinkedIn. All right, now we're going to talk about the defense here as promised. Delivered as promised, as the Tucson construction scene likes to say all the time. But Jedd Fisch said that the defense would get a lot better. They knew what they needed to do, and now the defense actually looks the part. You look on the D-line, we already talked about Taylor Upshaw. We already talked about Taylor Upshaw. We already talked about Isaiah Ward. Then on the inside, you got our guy, Big Bill Norton. Big Bill Norton's the man. And not only is Big Bill Norton the man, he is the dude who he is the guy who is pretty much capable of taking up the two blockers. Again, might not play in the NFL, probably not going to put up a ton of numbers, but Big Bill Norton is good, and Big Bill Norton is somebody that Arizona needs to have out there on the field when he can. But even when he's off the field like he was this past week, you got other dudes in there. You got Tai Uiagalelei, who is quickly becoming a fan favorite, as he should if he was not already. Then on top of Tai Uiagalelei, you've also got wait for it. You've also got Tyler Manoa. Tyler Manoa has also been another dude who's been absolutely fantastic for the U of A. And not only has he been fantastic, he just goes to show you, too, that Arizona knows where it needs to go to. Arizona knows where it needs to go to get its players. And it certainly has shown that there. Tyler Manoa has been a very nice addition to the University of Arizona Wildcats football program. We need to keep this one going right there. But again, Tia Savea on that D-line. There's been a lot of dudes who have stepped up. And again, it actually looks the part now. And that allows the linebackers, Jacob Manu, Justin Flo, that allows them to run free. And when they can run free, things become much different out there. Like I said, I'm pretty excited to see this D-line continue to improve because, by the way, you got reinforcements coming in next year. Now, The DB position right there becomes even more interesting because you got Ephesians Prysock, you got Jakario Davis. Both those dudes are talented. It's easy to tell that both of them are talented. Again, not breaking any news to you that they're both talented. Get that. But they're also young. They're going to take some lumps, but overall not bad. But they got to continue to grow. Traden Stukes in that nickel isn't bad at all either. Now at the safeties, at the safety spots, obviously we went over Gunnar Maldonado. He's not good enough. I would love to see more Genesis Smith in there. If you're going to struggle at that position, why not struggle with somebody that can get better, that's got some upside in there? But overall, very happy with the defense. I think the defense is quite good. And again, I've been very, very impressed. We will see going forward, though, how exactly this goes. But overall, can't say that I'm upset about much. Obviously, you got Washington coming in here. Washington's going to be a very, very difficult game for the Cats. We will find out exactly where Arizona stands. All right, we're going to be back with you tomorrow, as always, breaking down Arizona football. We're also going to start getting you ready for the Red-Blue game. The Red-Blue game, ladies and gentlemen. Very excited about the Red-Blue game. Arizona basketball is right around the corner. All right, but as always, this show is brought to you today by LinkedIn, and very much appreciate you guys making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. This is a massive week coming up here for Arizona athletics, as you all know. Again, Washington, this is going to be a tough one because I think Washington is the best team in the country, or best team in the conference. We will find that one out. But on that note, I'm your host, Mike Luke, and thanks a ton for listening to Locked On Wildcats. We will be back with you tomorrow.